My name's John McConnell. I'm going to start, but this really is an exploration conference, so I'm going to turn it over to Paul Gray, and he's going to talk about our exploration properties. And I want to forewarn you, he's a very enthusiastic individual, and you will very much feel compelled to call your broker and buy Victoria stock after his presentation. I think everybody, if you're here, knows we're in the Yukon. I just want to talk about our 2023 production. We are proud of this because we met guidance this year for the first time since we started the mine. And I feel the mine has really finally turned around post-COVID. There's just a comparison of 22 to 23. The most important number is that one along the bottom, the gold production. And you can see we increased the production about 11%. And it's our goal over the next few years to continue improving year-over-year production by 10%. Now I'm going to turn it over to the speaker of the day.
Thanks for that, John, and thanks everyone for putting up with me. I think I can figure out how to use this fairly quickly, so you won't have to bear with me. Yes, thanks. That's exactly right. John set the stage for where we are. We're a company now that's stepping into the next stage, and part and parcel of that is beyond just the bounds of the pit that is the Eagle Gold Mine. We've got 550 square kilometers that we hold 100% of, and is a huge polymetallic system with not just gold. We've got past-producing high-grade underground silver. We've got an old tungsten deposit we never talk about really, but now in this day of critical minerals, it's something we'd like to roll out and begin to discuss. And as well as that, we've got other high-grade gold deposits which are scattered around the property. So I hope to focus a little bit on that today for us all here, and as well bring you up to speed on what we've added in the last 6 months. We acquired Sabre Resources, which was a company which owned the past-producing VRIC mine. And this really speaks to the mineral endowment of not only the Eagle Gold Mine, the Dublin Gulch property, but the district as a whole. So I'll start you with big, and I'll bring you into small, and we can talk a little bit about what's in store for the company and for the investors. First thing here to note is a little picture that shows you the general district. It's a cartoon, but it is the Tombstone Gold Belt. This is a really well-known gold belt, past producers all across the board, literally across the international border. Over with our friends at Fort Knox are in the same package of the Tombstone Gold Belt. Essentially, all the gold here revolves around intrusion-related systems, Cretaceous age, 95, 97 million-year-old intrusive bodies, which are associated with gold systems and big polymetallic systems like Eagle Gold. If you look on this map and you get the sense of the scale there, it's a rather large area, but there's about 17 million ounces of gold on the books just from this small pocket within Yukon itself. You'll recognize some of the names and some of the players here. You've got ourselves, you've got Brewery Creek, our past producing gold mine with 2 million ounces on the books there. I'll speak of to next. We've got Raven, which is a quickly advancing project, which we've discovered ourselves in the last 3 years. We've learned a lot from drilling the Eagle Gold deposit, and we've applied that successfully over our entire property portfolio. Additionally, some of our neighbors like Banyan Gold with 6 million ounces just on our access road. Sitka Gold around the corner next to our Clear Creek deposit with 1.2 million ounces of gold they put on the books last year. Keno Hill, of course, a well-known silver system which has been produced since the turn of the last century, effectively, and the old ATAC properties, which are now in Hecla, Tiger, Cyrus, as well as Ireson and Snowline's Rogue property far out to the far east. So the takeaway here is this is the right place to look for gold. This is a large system. If it was down in Nevada, there'd be dozens of mines operating within this system. The one thing that Yukon does not have is not blessed with infrastructure like it is down 5 to 6 lane interstates that cut through the basin and range of Nevada. Whereas here, we're going to focus on the projects that we have, and I'll have you note before I get into it that each of the properties we're going to talk about today with Victoria Gold are road accessible, which is absolutely key in the Yukon. So I'll start with Brewery, which is our newest property and our newest project. This was a past producer from 1996 to 2002. It ran as a heap leach, the first heap leach in Yukon in the north. and it produced somewhere close to 300,000 ounces over that time. It is on a road. It is accessible. It's about an hour from Dawson City, so easy to get to. And again, it fits into this Tombstone intrusive suite system with intrusion-related systems. In this case, it's a monzonite, but nonetheless, it's associated with these Cretaceous intrusions. A little bit of bleed out into the hosting metasedimentary package, but very much the same. Exploration permit in place, and we intend on advancing this over the next couple seasons as we build it towards entering our production portfolio in the next 5-7 years. As Eagle winds down, we can build this out. So there you see the compliant resource in there. There's 35 million tons at just over a gram, which is pretty good for any kind of heap leach anywhere in the world, but specifically good for Yukon. And you'll note that there's almost 240,000 meters of drilling, so 240 kilometers of drilling in there already. I'm an exploration geologist. I like and I enjoy drilling, but I don't recommend we run out with a drill here. This is really well drilled off and really well defined right now. So we know we can advance it with what's been done to date, and now we can really concentrate on moving it through the permitting system and de-risking it through some additional work like geotechnical drilling and mobilizing the project forward. So you're going to hear a lot more about Brewery Creek from Victoria in the next couple seasons. So we look forward to that, and we do look forward to getting busy out there. Clear Creek, which I mentioned briefly before, sits right in between Eagle and Brewery Creek. So it too is road accessible. This is a really well-known and well-mineralized district that's been defined since its discovery in the 80s. Which, by the way, all of this Tombstone intrusive gold systems in Yukon were really led by this renaissance of the Fort Knox discovery across the border in the late 70s, early 80s. Each one of these intrusive bodies was evaluated one by one, and Clear Creek is no exception. It's a really well-studied property. There's probably 3 PhD studies on it and half that many again in master's thesis. It's well-known and it's well-defined mineralization. It's a large package and in a well-staked terrain. I mentioned Sitka Gold. They're immediately contiguous to us to the north, so a really good place to look at. You'll note here, this is all reduced intrusion-related system gold, so everything associated with these intrusives. We have the largest intrusive body in the gold camp here at Clear Creek, the Rose Gobble stock. That is the focus of our exploration efforts and will be. It's, again, easily accessible, and if you look here on this map to the right side, you'll see where Sitka sits on our north on those Eiger stocks and the Josephine stocks. Each one of those intrusive bodies is what they're testing. And we, of course, have that larger body, which hasn't been drilled since the 90s. And we're looking forward to getting into and advancing quickly, easily, and efficiently. Again, we've learned a lot from the exploration at Dublin Gulch over the years. And this is the perfect example where we can apply the successful exploration model we have and advance this in short order. I encourage you to pay attention and keep looking at what Sitka's doing as well as ourselves, because it's all one big system and it really speaks volumes to the mineral endowment of the district. Along with the Sabre, we got a myriad of properties which came in with it. Most importantly, of course, is Brewery Creek, the most advanced, was Gold Dome. This deposit sits, again, just off our access road to the Eagle Gold Mine. It's the deposit formerly known as Scheelite Dome. When I was in university, my ore deposits textbook had a whole section based on Scheelite Dome. Again, a really well-studied deposit. There's a lot of, obviously, tungsten in the system out here, which is why it was called Scheelite. We've taken on the rebranding of it because there's a gold component which has been largely ignored to date. Effectively, it's the same sort of system with these intrusive bodies around. All the previous exploration, which had some really excellent results, was focused in the metasedimentary package, kind of like what our neighbors Banyan Gold are doing. However, we have a really large intrusive body, just like the Eagle stock and the Dublin Gulch stock, which have not been evaluated under the guise of what we know from Eagle. So we're looking forward to another program here. We've got a exploration permit in place, and again, easily road accessible. We look forward to following up on some of these nice drill intervals you can see here on the right. Again, this one fits the bill just like Clear Creek. There's a lot of placer, both current and historic operations in the district, and one of my favorite geochemical indicators of all time is looking at a placer guy who's at the end of the season cleaning out his mats and pouring gold. So we know there's gold in the system. We know where it's coming from, which is right up at the stock. Now we just need to apply this drilling, or apply this exploration focus through drilling. It's reasonably well drilled, about 12,000 meters in there already, mostly with diamond, and then another 5,000 with RC. So once again, advanced projects which we can take a look at, develop our own models, and see if they fit into this information we have from everything we learned from Eagle. Now we're pulling back a bit from regional and really going to focus in on, it's a large area, as I said, 550 square kilometers, which is our Dublin Gulch claim package. Eagle sits right there in the center, the gold star. And there's been something like, before we started construction at Victoria, there's maybe $150 million put in just exploration. And about 98% of that was put into just Eagle. Or what is that little yellow star there? To the detriment of the rest of the property. So since 2015, we've been stepping out along strike and really applying this, what I call the Potato Hills trend model. That's that hatched line, which runs roughly east to west. It's a trend of high-grade gold, high-grade silver, tungsten. A big polymetallic system is at work here at the Dublin Gulch claim block. You're looking at a protracted event which took some 10 to 20 million years of multiple phases of intrusive and multiple styles of mineralization, which is what I really like. I'm used to working on properties where if you go in and you're looking for 0.7 grams per ton gold, you're likely to find more 0.7. Here we've been able to demonstrate effectively and consistently that no, there's 20, 30 gram gold out there. There's high-grade silver, there's base metal veins akin to what's been mined in Keno. So, excuse me. So really, not to mention tungsten deposits floating around. So really an impressive place to apply this exploration model. The first place that we successfully applied it after Raven was Lynx. So this was an old target, mostly drilled in the 90s, probably about 3,000 meters put in, all of which predated any concept, this Potato Hills mineralization concept I was telling you about, all of which was focused without a real sense of control. There's nothing wrong with the work they did. They just didn't have the same background of information that we did from what we've done at Eagle and Raven. So if you look at those numbers, they're very akin to what we've seen at Raven. You're looking at 5 meters of 7 grams. You're looking at 8 meters of 3 grams. This is not what we see at Eagle. Eagle is very consistently and typically mineralized around that 1 gram to sub-gram level. This is something different. This is hosted in base metal veins, massive sulfide veins, and really looks a lot more like Raven, especially with the structural control, than anything to do with Eagle. So we began to advance that in 2020. We opened it up, did a bunch of trenching because trenching really works well out here. It's effective, it's easy. You get heavy equipment in there on our access roads, and you can begin to build this Potato Hills trend model and apply it. And within a short period of time, 3 seasons, we've done 21 holes, about 450 meters of surface trenches, pile of geochem, and built a model, which if you look at it here, presented for the first time for this group and for most people, is it looks a lot like what we see at Raven. This series, a corridor of stacked massive sulfide veins trending roughly east-west, cutting through about 1 kilometer to 1.5 kilometers in strike length and about 600 meters across. And if you look at those grades from the drill hole intervals and the surface trenches, these are all surface expressions. These are open pit style of exploitation is what we're looking at here. We're not looking at going underground on this, although with some of these grades, you could 27.5 meters of almost 3 grams, 10 meters of 2.5, 20 meters of 3 grams. These are good numbers, and these are consistent numbers. And it's something I'm looking forward to, based on this geologic model and some work we're going to do this coming season, put out a maiden resource on something that was mostly been drilled by previous operators. So that's a microcosm of what we've been doing. Same thing we're going to do with Gold Dome, same thing we're going to do with Brewery, same thing we're going to do with Clear Creek. Take advantage of this 50 plus years of historic information and build upon it with what we know. Raven, I know you're all titillated and interested in waiting to hear. We have a mineral resource estimate update coming out this year. So our maiden resource update came out in 2022 and will be based on about 30,000 more drilling meters in the last 2 seasons. We're going to update that. The focus is really twofold, expanding the resource. We know we're onto something here, really just like Raven or just like Lynx, a consistent corridor of mineralization. These veins, I can drill one 5 meters over there, I can drill one 150 meters over there, and another one 1 kilometer over there. I can hit the same vein consistently at the same altitude with the same grades cutting right across here. This is not something you see every day. We opened up the Discovery Trench, was here in 2018. We didn't have any geochem at the time. This thing had never been drilled before, and we were able to trench 150 meters of 3.5 grams, which for all the geologists and explorationists in the house here, That doesn't happen every day. So we knew we were onto something, again, surface expression mineralization, and something that's not Eagle. I can't stress that enough. This is a different part of the system, higher level, much more massive sulfide related. Eagle has almost 0.5% sulfides by volume. This is massive sulfides. This is a different beast, a different end member, and it's this polymetallic system I keep coming back to. This is the right place to look. So we're able to put 1 million ounces on the books here very easily and effectively over a couple seasons worth of work. I can see this expanding to double that very, very easily and very closely in the next couple seasons with the work we've done and additional work. And if we can keep doing things like that at Raven, which was, again, nothing was there before. This was a discovery we made all by ourselves, never had a drill hole. And we can do that at Lynx, another 1 million ounces there. I got a dozen of these properties scattered over the entirety of the Dublin Gulch block. So very impressive property to work on, and stay tuned, you're going to hear more. I'll just leave you with a review of a couple of the last season's intercepts to get you excited again. There's 26 meters of 4.5 grams, 44 meters of 6 grams, not Eagle, and very impressive. So I encourage you to take a look at the website. There's quite a bit of information on there. And stay tuned for a resource update. We've also doing a bunch of network. We're on our phase 2 now. We're looking at this now because of the sulfide content as not necessarily heap leachable, but more of a standalone milling process type of recovery. Not to mention the high silver we see with this and base metal association that we've begun to realize in the last 3 seasons too, really, that there's base metal mineralization that we did not expect to see. We've never seen in Dublin Gulch before. And so really showing us that there's a lot more upside to this in a polymetallic fashion than there is from just a heap leach gold recovery only. So it's something we're going to be looking at in the next couple seasons. I did mention tungsten, and I did mention critical minerals. It's the talk of the town, of course, but it's also, to me, speaks about the potential, and this is the right place to be looking. When you've got this much smoke, there has to be fire. So there's a 43101 compliant resource that's on this tungsten deposit. It's just 2 kilometers up the hill, or 2.5 kilometers up the hill from Eagle, all road accessible, mostly drilled out by the majors back in the 70s and 80s when tungsten was de rigueur. 123 diamond drill holes in it, about 20,000 meters worth. We'd put a couple confirmation holes back in there, and I can tell you with my hand on my heart, yes, there is tungsten there. And there is the resource I show you at the bottom there that was in that 2008 43101 compliant resource is about 86 million pounds of 0.3 WO3. So a good start. I feel like from the work we've done, from remodeling and re-looking at this, we can up the tonnage and grade as is without adding another drill hole. So it's something we're also going to be attacking in the coming seasons. Couple little background here again. I talked about well studied. I talked about majors doing the work. People like Queen Stake, Canada Tungsten, and BEMA all provided excellent baseline data and really did an industry standard job of this back in the 70s and 80s. Some of the best geologic mapping I've seen on the property was from those campaigns. So super interesting. Some of the metrics of the study are there, and in the next season or two, when we get up there and do a little bit more work, you'll probably see a standalone study come out on this one. So something else to pay attention to. Now, notwithstanding all that, which is the future and is the upside, is what I really get excited about. The low-hanging fruit is really right around the pit. This is, we know there's more mineralization that was captured in the reserve. We know there's more mineralization in the resource. We've always known there's mineralization at depth. So starting in 2017, we put a bunch of deep holes in demonstrating there's a higher grade feeder system to depth, but also along strike. So beyond the pit boundaries and beyond the pit walls, now what have been the ultimate pit walls, focused quite a few holes, about 10 to 12,000 meters in the last 3 seasons, just trying to show that yes, there's mineralization that extends beyond the current study. So something we can easily add and easily get at through a focused drilling campaign. It was 23 holes in 2002 for 10,000 meters, and that drilling alone resulted in us replacing 100% of the ounces we've depleted from Eagle on a resource level. To up that to M&I, we just have to go back and tighten up some of that drill spacing, but we've really demonstrated the root theory well with the work we've done to date, and now it's just a matter of stepping out. Now the best part is, and some of these figures highlight it, is that Normally, when a mine finds more mineralization and extends the mine life, it's underneath the truck shop, it's underneath the recovery plant, or it's on some kind of infrastructure. Here, we're just following on trend, and there's literally no infrastructure down there. There's a road and our power line, both of which can easily be moved. So the focus of our next efforts there, and again, I'm looking at another 12 to 15,000 meters, not a whole lot. Some of that drilling can best be done in the winter. I can keep my geologists out of the way of operations. I don't have to be in the pit doing this work. So functionally, it works very well. I should be able to get that next step and get that on the books with our next updated technical report. The last point I'll leave you with here is that lower figure, the colored one at the bottom. That's a hybrid of our blast model data to date. So that's something like 60,000 samples from blast holes of the 4 years of production, along with our exploration drill holes merged together. And you really see these two trends. We always knew they were there, but these two high-grade red trends, that's our higher-grade mineralization, plus a gram. And you can just draw those arrows. I did it for you, but you can just draw those arrows. There's a trend there. We don't see any truncating structures. We see all the indication that those trends will continue in that way. And the only reason that it's considered waste right now is there's been no work down there at all. So do some more drilling, easily done, relatively cheaply done, and extend this mineralization. But we know it's granite right down there, and we've got a rule of thumb at the Eagle Gold Mine. White rock is ore, black rock is waste, and it's all white rock down there. So something I'm looking forward to adding. It's probably the most exciting short-term addition for the Eagle. It is the most exciting short-term addition to the Eagle Gold Mine. So again, pay attention to that. I'll talk a little bit about here on our portfolio as well. Victoria holds a percentage of a number of different companies, including Banyan, which is our neighbor. And it's actually literally on our access road, the power line, the Oryx Hill, and the Ormac. The Ormac, all the Ormac deposits are on these properties. And again, they're located just south of the Eagle with 6 million ounces on the books already. Large unexplored land package. Again, they're doing the same thing that Eagle is doing by applying the knowledge we know about the district liberally and along strike. And this is a large system. Definitely related. It's a reduced intrusion related system. They haven't tagged into the intrusive yet. It's down there somewhere or it's over there somewhere, but it's related to the same Cretaceous events as is Eagle and the Gold Dome and Greer Creek. You get the idea. So good management. Excellent financials to move this thing forward, and a good key plan. So keep attention to that as well. Speaking of Nevada, we hold the majority in Lahontan Gold. It's a big district scale land package from a past producer, the Santa Fe mine, which was mined back in the 90s. There are 3 high potential multi-million ounce projects there. We're not just Santa Fe, following up where the old mining stopped. It was a bit of a smash and grab in the 90s, just looking for the leachable oxide and not paying attention to some of the more transition material, as well as the easily accessible targets. So there's 3 that are running out in Santa Fe itself. Along they have the Moho and the Red Lich, which are other district-wide properties, all gold and all speak to the typical Carlin-style mineralization we see down there. Excellent infrastructure. You can drive to all these properties I'm talking about today, and not just with a tank. You can get there with your K-car. So stable, as we all know, and an experienced management team. I'll draw your attention to the excellent technical advisors that Lahontan has as well. I guess to sum up here, John brought us up to speed on our production to start with. So we're really hitting our stride, as he mentioned, and we've met guidance, and we intend to do that as everything's coming together for us in the pit, in the crushing system, and on the heap leach pad. We've got a development project underway, which will fit nicely into our current production profile in Brewery Creek, which is quickly advancing. Past producer, which could be rolled out again as another heap leach. We do have heap leach experience, as I don't have to tell you, with something. Not only we have heap leach experience as a management group, but we have northern experience, which all comes into play here. And of course, exploration. I can't understate that enough. We really don't have to go out and find any other projects. We really don't have to go out and stake anything new. We've got. I know it's uptown problems, but we've got more targets than I know what to do with right now. So something to also keep in mind when you're evaluating this company. They're forecasting year-over-year production growth and highly leveraged to gold, which is Johnism, and we like to say it, but it's absolutely true. And I'll finish off those permittable, road-accessible jurisdictions and a strong ESG component. So there's the man himself, and a bit of our safety and really our focal points for our crews. There's over 400 employees on site. We take safety and we take that culture very seriously. And there's our 1 ounce gold coins, which if our CFO was here, I'd be remiss not to say they're available for purchase through our website, or you can come visit us at the booth right across the way. Thank you.